Hey there, it's Laurie Hoke. I'm here bringing you some November insights to help you lead your life, lead your company, your family, your business, whatever that looks like, in a more intentional and pronounced way from a strengths-based perspective. I have a question for you. How are you evaluating the journey you're creating? How are you able to measure and reflect back on the growth you're experiencing from month to month? Do you have something in place that's a tool you regularly and consistently use to be able to reflect upon the last month, for example, and see how you're different, what you've experienced, the ways you've challenged and stretched yourself, and be able to see at a glance how you're growing and changing in the process, in the now? I started doing this kind of haphazardly over the last several years on an intermittent basis. But I became very intentional in 2016 to group myself at the end of each month and ask some key reflective questions so that I could evaluate how the month went, what I learned from key standout experiences, even being able to pause long enough to say what were my standout experiences from this month, and be able to see what I needed to tweak and adjust going into the next month. If you don't have a way to already be doing this, today is your day. I'm calling you to a higher level, to up-level your game and how you're growing forward by using this awesome template that I've created called my MOVER Monthly Accelerator. I'm including the free download here for you in this email. And what I advise for you in that is to print this and go through the question for each of the MOVER acronym letter, MOVER, and a final concluding question to help you see what you did right, what you did well over the last month. This works whether you're looking at it from the standpoint of what happened within your home and your family, or how you're leading your company, your organization. It's very multi-purpose, but it's going to accelerate you forward. This became urgent for me this week because I was recently talking to a room full of leaders and asking what key questions they ask themselves at the end of each month to reflect upon how that month played out and what they need to change for the following month. Meaning more of the internal questions. I'm not talking about analyzing numbers and trends and all of that in terms of business logistics. This is an inside journey. And nobody in the room responded. It was like it fell on deaf ears. No one had an answer to provide any sort of feedback or conversation or best practices discussion about the reflective questions they ask at every month end. And I realized then, wow, there is truly a need for me to raise awareness about this practice. John Maxwell calls it in his law of reflection. He's got tons of leadership laws and principles, but I believe it's his law of reflection, where he says we have to pause long enough to allow our growth to catch up to us. And for me, that's exactly why I designed this monthly Mover Accelerator, to be able to have a process to complete so we can see how we're learning and growing. I'll tell you this. Before I started doing this on a consistent basis, there was a lot of ways that I was growing that I was not picking up on until I took time, 15 to 20 minutes at the end of the month, to see how pivotal those experiences really were. See, we can live our lives, we can experience them firsthand, but when we go back to evaluate what we experienced and grow from those, our leadership is catapulted forward in a much more accelerated way. So don't just live your life, begin leading it by using the monthly Mover Accelerator each month, starting right now. We're starting to get into November already, but it's not too late to reflect on what October meant for you so November can be most purposeful. Have a gratitude-filled Thanksgiving month. Bye-bye.